Well, it's a pity, to be honest, that our democracy was truncated in 1966. Okay, had the military not come in at that time, would have gone very, very far as a nation, especially when we're structured along regional lines. And I really want to join my voice to this restructuring of Nigeria to ensure that every area of Nigeria fulfills its economic potential and benefits its people, and people are more in charge of their resource and therefore their destiny. Well, since 1999, the experiment and the experience has continued, okay? It's not been easy. The start was a bit shaky. The foundation was a bit tough. But because we have been consistent, I sincerely believe, in spite of everything, that it has been getting better and better. And better quality people are now coming into the democratic process. So I am one of the advocates and fighters that this democracy must not be tampered with, it must not be interrupted. No matter how flawed it seems at this point in time, it can only get better, and we'll fight to make it better. Definitely. The church is the moral compass of the nation. And one of the big mistakes the church made, especially when people are like myself, got a bit more involved and got born again in church, was that they tried to separate politics and church. They said, come out from amongst them. What has light got to do with darkness? Big mistake. The church, number one, is the moral compass of society. Number two, the church teaches, educates, informs its people as to what God is saying, and God is never wrong. The church is also the fulcrum of government, of nation, that has the moral standing to speak truth to power. Kings like David, kings like Solomon, kings like Ezekiah, various kings in the Bible, they were able to do well because they had a strong church who was able to tell the king that thus saith the Lord, or king, you've done wrong, or king, you have misbehaved. So a nation needs that. The church also needs to teach the people, its people and the people, what good governance is, what leadership is, how to do ethics, morality, right from wrong, holiness, righteousness, so that the church is the oven that bakes the quality of people that we need in governance and in society. And then the church needs to pray for our leaders, needs to pray for our nation, needs to ward off the attacks of the enemy of our church. So the church needs to be very, very, very involved in every aspect of politics and governance. They don't need to be political, but they need to be involved in politics, in the choice of our leaders, in what the leaders do, and so on and so forth. And if there are members of the church that want to get into politics, sure. Even if the pastor wants to get into politics after he has done his preaching, by all means, he's a Nigerian citizen, he's entitled to it. So we must not shirk our responsibility. And then the church needs to support governance, provision of schools, provision of hospitals, provision of welfare, looking after the poor, looking after the sick, and so on and so forth. That's the church's responsibility. It must come out of church and be part of society. Government can do everything. Most of the big educational institutions, hospitals, and so on and so forth, technical schools, were church-based. CMS, St. Patrick's, St. Gregory's, and so on and so forth. They're all church-based. The hospitals, different kinds of hospitals, church-based. Mary's Leslaw, church person. So we need the church, and the church must keep on doing what it has to do and be part of governance, be part of choosing leaders, be part of training leaders, be part of speaking truth to power, and be part of helping society become what it's supposed to be. Thank God for Dapo's life. We've been friends for many years, almost 30 years, if I may recount. We met in the late 80s or early 90s. And he's a very resilient man. He's a man who has started from virtually nothing and worked his way up to building quite a very, very great company. okay, in the oil and gas business, and some other things that he's doing. So that speaks for his resilience, his determination, his forward-lookingness, okay? And he's always been interested in governance and leadership. He's tried for the Senate a couple of times, even tried for gubernatorial at a certain time, but he was dogged enough to be persistent. To be honest, this time around, I didn't know, I wasn't so sure he was going to go again, especially having lost his son a couple of years ago, and that pain and grief and everything. But the ability to come out and try and say, you know what, let's give this a trial, I really, really salute him. But I'd like him to know that definitely God helped him. Definitely God must favor him. And definitely God has given him a huge, huge responsibility. And he must live up to that responsibility and make sure he provides good governance for the betterment of the people of Ogun State and Nigeria at large. That boy is urbane, he's civil, he's exposed, he's experienced, he's kind, he's generous to some extent, I believe, and I think he has very, very good intentions to try and do his best in Ogun State. My advice also, let him build bridges, let him not lose any friends, he knows what I'm talking about, let him make sure he keeps the family and the friendship together, let him reach out olive branches to everyone, let us all work together, especially people of our generation, to build a truly outstanding Nigeria. I want to assure him of my prayers. I'm a pastor. I want to assure him of my love, he and his wife, who I also love and care for very much. She knows what I'm saying. And I also want to assure him of my support in any way that I can. Dapo, God bless you. I think they should expect some dynamism. They should expect some forthrightness. They should expect somebody who is methodical and who has great plans for them. They should please cooperate with him and work with him and make a way so that this job will not be too difficult or too tedious for him. And they should give him all the support that they can. I think Dapo's governance should be a pleasant one. I like to advise and encourage him to keep an open house, to listen to advice, to listen to people's opinion, and to try his best to ensure that even development throughout Ogun State, from Yewa to Awori to Ijebu to wherever, he should just make sure that his governance touches every part of Ogun State. Education, very, very important. Healthcare, very, very important. Ease of doing business, very, very important. Infrastructure, very, very important. And security, extremely important. And of course, Ogun is an agrarian society, so there's a lot of potential in the agricultural sector. And there are many, many minerals that are available also. And also tourism. So therefore, your plates are full. You should do your best to show that our generation has meaning, interest, strength, and depth for Nigeria.